This whole thing about all the YouTubers quitting or scaling back. I don't need to go into details because I imagine you've already seen it out there in various different places. But yeah, at the beginning of this year, a lot of really big YouTubers, I say a lot, it was a handful, decided to either leave the platform completely or scale back operations or just, give themselves a little bit of time. And it got a lot of people's attention. Some really big people, like Tom Scott was a big one, and Matt Pat from Game Theory. Those are the kind of the two big ones, and then a bunch of other people followed. I think it's been made into a bigger deal than it actually is, because like everything on YouTube, once something is trending, once everybody's talking about it, everybody's going to pile on. So this is probably the 15th video you've seen of somebody talking about this, which is, again, why I wasn't even going to do a video. But the other thing is, like, once it became clear that, like, oh, this is the thing everybody's talking about, a whole lot of people start making videos with headlines that say, I quit, or something. The quitting video, by the way, has always been a thing, that sort of fake quit thing where somebody says, I quit, and then it's like drinking soda or something. It's like it's always been a little bit of a misdirection to get people to click on a video. And so when all these big YouTubers start, kind of peeling off, of course, everybody's going to pile on. And so it feels like it's a bigger deal and it's more people than it actually is. That's my opinion. But just to talk really quickly about the people who did leave. So Tom Scott, I am thankful that I've gotten to meet Tom and hang out with him a few different times. And I don't know if it's something that he announced on his channel and that's where I saw it, or if he told me in person, but I knew that he was quitting this year. I knew this was his 10-year, anniversary on YouTube, and he wanted to kind of put an end to it. I did not know it would be literally on January 1st. I thought it was just going to be sometime in 2024 he was going to pack it in. I did not know it was going to be right at the very beginning. So it was kind of a shock to me. I mean, I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was coming right then. But even with him, he says he's not going to be doing the videos that he's been doing all this time, but he's still doing his podcast. He's still doing some other things. He's not going away completely. And in Tom Scott's case, I have to say, I cannot believe he's done this for as long as he has, because, again, having met the guy and talked to him, he has been essentially homeless this whole time. And by that, I mean, like, he just travels all the time. Like, if you might have noticed, in every single video, every single week, he's in a different place in the world doing something. He's always on the move. He does not have a home base, or at least that's what he told me. And I don't know how a person lives that way. I just kind of figure, like, maybe that works for him. Maybe that's his personality or whatever. But I can't imagine that doesn't catch up to you after a while. And after a while, you just kind of want to be like, you know what? I just want to sit somewhere for a while. So in his video, when he said, I'm so tired, like, I feel that. I get where he was coming from. Now, Matt Pat, I really don't know him, and I can't really speak to his situation. I will say, though, I like the way he's doing it. He's spent a good, probably a few years now building up a team to run everything for him, and now he's sort of peeling off and leaving everything to his team. So he's left a legacy. He's left a thing that's going to continue on beyond him. But those are just two examples. I mean, to get to the meat of it, though, the reason everybody is talking about it and the reason it's getting kind of blown, I think, out of proportion, is because a lot of it comes down to just like how hard it is to be a YouTuber. And of course, everybody wants to paint YouTube as the big bad because it's just like this thing that just chews people up and spit them out. And I think, yes, of course, that factors into it a little bit. There's definitely a thing called burnout. And there is definitely something I'll get to here in a minute, that, like, as you get bigger on YouTube, things change and it does become more stressful and it becomes a different kind of work that you didn't sign up for in the first place. Again, I'll get to that in a second. I want to just kind of highlight one take on it that I really thought was a good one. And that actually comes from Dave Wiskus, who's the CEO of Nebula. Of course, I'm a part of Nebula, but I saw him posting on Twitter that he said this is actually kind of a good thing, because what this technically means is that YouTube has now become a platform that has matured to the point that people can retire from it. Just like any traditional job, you go work it for a certain amount of time, you make enough money to sustain yourself after that job, and you retire and you go off and do other things. YouTube is now a platform that allows for people to do that, and that's a good thing. It should kind of be celebrated in a sense. And I think there's also a bit of the parasocial relationship thing that happens here, where people see their favorite creator going off and doing other things. And it's like, on a personal level, you feel good for them. You're happy that they are maybe able to go and explore some things that they've always wanted to do and haven't been able to do before. But at the same time, it's kind of like losing a friend, There's a bit of a ritual there, especially people that post weekly, kind of like Tom did, like I do. There is a bit of a feeling of loss. And I get that. As things grow, as part of the running a YouTube channel, as things grow, as you grow a team around it, as it becomes a business, just like, this is tale as old as time. Don't ever, what they say, don't make your hobbies into a job, because then you won't like it anymore. Like that's kind of an old thing, but there's something a little bit to that, especially on a big platform like YouTube, and especially as you kind of develop a machine around getting these videos out. Look, I'll speak from personal experience. I have a team of 8 or 9 people right now. It kind of fluctuates a little bit, but and I'll be honest, I spend most of my time now kind of managing people. I am now like a boss, and it's a business, and I pay people, and there's all that stuff that comes along with it, and the taxes and all that stuff, right? That's just, it's a whole different skill set that I did not set out with in the beginning, that I've had to kind of grow, that I'm still trying to grow. And it's miles away from where things started, where I was just sitting here coming up with what I thought was funny stuff and talking about things that interested me. And it's that juice, that creative and curiosity juice, that keeps you going in the early days when nobody's watching. I said this before. I think I did videos weekly for about 18 months, a year and a half, before I saw any revenue from it. And by that, I don't mean like something I could live off of. I mean, before I got paid anything from YouTube AdSense. Maybe a better creator would be making money faster. I don't know, but it took me a long time. And the only reason that I was able to keep going is because I'm a creative person. I'm somebody that's always going to be doing creative stuff. And that's what drove me to start making YouTube videos. It scratched all the itches. It gave me that feeling of getting something out there. And over time, more and more of that has been handed off to other people. And more of my job is just kind of managing those people. And I'll be honest, like I love my team. They're all friends now. Some of them were friends before. But a lot of times I've had the thought, like, I kind of wish I could just kind of go back to where things were and just kind of do it out of the passion of doing it. And I think maybe that's something that's something that also factors into some of the decisions that some of these people have made, where they're like, I'm not leaving the platform, but I'm scaling back. I'm going back to the way things used to be, and I'm just doing it all myself again. I think maybe you get to a point, because as you build up and you have a team around it, there's a certain amount of money that you have to make to be able to pay that team. And there's certain decisions you got to make that maybe aren't, creatively driven to be able to pay that team. And you get to a point where you maybe start to think to yourself, it's like, okay, if I just scale back and just post it every once in a while, I would probably lose a big part of my audience, but I might have enough of my audience to still make it, something that I could live off of. I'm putting words in other people's mouths when I say this, so forgive me. But I think there does come that point where you just start kind of doing the calculus in your head, and you're like, is it worth it to take it all back to where things started? Like, would I keep enough people to be able to pay for that, so that I'm doing the thing that I enjoy and not all the stuff that I don't want to do? The critic in me wants to say that, like, if that's where you are, then you're not doing a good job of delegating to your team. And let me be the first to say, I am god awful at delegating to my team. Again, it's a skill I've had to grow, and I'm still working on it. You can ask any one of them. They get so frustrated because I'm just like, and I don't delegate that stuff off to them. But that's kind of part of running a business. Once you're in that place of running a business, that's what you need to do. And again, some people just don't want to be in that place. They don't want to do that. That's not why they got into this. And they just do the math and they say, I could go back to just doing this myself. I would lose an audience, but I might still have enough to maintain this. And I can't blame anyone for that. If that's just, if the running the team thing is not something they want to do, then I can't blame anybody for doing that. strategically, again, just talking about running businesses, that's where you start talking about like hiring a COO. That's where you talk about having somebody whose job it is to just run everything and let you focus on the thing that got you started doing it in the first place. That is a very difficult thing to do, because when you've been doing it for a long time, there's just so much up here. This is something I've struggled with. There's so much up here that I've just internalized over the years, that getting that in front of somebody else and getting them to that place where they have internalized it, it is just, it's like Chinese water torture. It's just drip, 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 drip. And it just seems to take forever. And that can be really frustrating. I don't think it's the big deal that everybody is making it out to be. And I don't think that it's a YouTube problem, that YouTube chews up and spits out creators or whatever. YouTube has always been difficult. It's always been a grind, and there's always been burnout, you know? Learning how to manage that is part of the job. And I'm not saying that to be critical of the people who are, you know, packing it in. I'm not saying that they did a bad job of that or they failed in some way. I'm just saying that, like, you know, to anybody out there who really wants to do this, who may be actually growing a YouTube channel right now, that's something you got to be prepared for. That's part of it. And you got to be able to make that choice. And if you're a creative person, which if you're making videos on YouTube, there's some part of you that's creative. You have to figure out what you can delegate and what you need to keep for yourself. There were a lot of things early on that I delegated out that I've now realized, no, that's the core thing. That's my thing. That's what I need to focus on. If I get rid of that, not only am I not happy, but the audience doesn't connect the way they used to, because they got here for me. I am not an egotistical person, so whenever I start talking about people are here for me and my personality, I like, there's a voice in my head that's just like, shut up. But that's the fact. I mean, people follow me for me and my personality and what I bring to things. And if I farm that out to somebody else, it's not going to work. And by the way, I will be miserable. Writing the scripts is by far what I spend the most time on. I do a lot of packaging work too, like titles and thumbnails. Like, there's so much work there. But that's something I'm kind of working to feed off to other people. The writing of it, that's my background. That's what I do. That's what I would do if I wasn't making any money from it, like I said before. So that's what I need to hang on to. That's what I've learned has to be my thing. And that's what I need to prioritize around everything else. But the whole farming off of the details and the working of the channel, that's challenging. And it's something I'm still working on. But to answer anybody's question about whether I'm going anywhere, it's kind of funny, the Tom Scott thing. Like I said, he's doing it for 10 years, and he's like, I'm packing it in at 10 years. Well, actually, this fall, the fall of this year, will be 10 years for me that I've been doing weekly videos. It was the fall of 2014 when... I've told this origin story before, but I posted a video randomly. I had done it off and on. Actually, I first started posting videos like this in around 2011, 2012, but I was never consistent about it. I would just do it a little bit at and then I would get frustrated at the lack of views and whatnot, so I would stop. And I posted a video for some random thing, and somebody commented on it that I didn't know who it was. Some rando, total rando, was like, "Hey man, why aren't you posting more videos? I like your stuff." And I was like, who is this? It blew my mind. There was somebody out there that I didn't know that was watching this and wanted to see more of it. And so that was my mindset shift in autumn of 2014. I just decided, you know what? I'm going to post a video every single week for that guy. Not for the masses, not for hundreds or millions of people. That guy. I'm going to make a video for that guy. Because as far as I was concerned, he was my audience. And once I got into that mindset and I started doing it regularly, that was when things eventually started to pick up. And it took a while. Like I said, it took a while, but it got there. But yeah, that was 10 years ago. And what's happening with Tom and with all this other stuff, it's definitely got me thinking about what the next step is and, what an exit strategy might be. It's not something I'm considering anytime soon. I'm still enjoying this enough to keep doing it. And I'm not quite at the point where I feel like I've made enough to where I'll never have to work again. That's my goal. I want this to be my last job. And I think I've heard a lot of YouTubers say that. Like, you can't go from doing this to going and working at a desk job or something. Like, this is it. So I'm going to do this until I will get to the point where I don't have to work anywhere else again. And who knows how long that'll take. But I have no plans to leave anytime soon. I still want to expand and do more fun stuff. I want to do more experimental stuff. I want to do more narrative stuff. What you might see, and this is fingers crossed actually, there might be a point where either I step away for a bit or we move into different types of videos so that I can make something like a feature film or a TV show or something, like, move on to a bigger thing. Not that this would die entirely, but it would shift. And while I'm sure some people would miss the way things used to be, it would absolutely be a good thing, especially for me. I'm just thinking about me. In conclusion, I would just say, don't freak out. I think a lot of the people that you've seen say I quit aren't really going to be quitting. They're going to either scale back, or they're going to shift, or they're going to, decide they want to keep doing it, because there's something about doing this that everybody that does it loves, and it's kind of hard to step away from. It's not just a money thing, although obviously that matters. Another thing that I've been thinking about is in terms of like where this goes from here, and how possibly what happens on this channel could outlive me in some way. My wife and I, we just recently got our wills done. That was fun. Nothing like spending some time planning your own demise to really cheer you up. But just that has got me. It definitely got me thinking about like what should happen if I get hit by a bus, or that whole thing. I don't know why buses always hit people in that analogy, but anyway. I really don't want everything that I've done over the last 10 years to just kind of die with me. Whether it's a death or whether I move on to something else, I don't want it to just end. So we're talking a lot amongst my team about ways to kind of keep the thing going, not just to keep putting out into the world the thing that I've been kind of dedicating my life to for the last 10 years. With that in mind, again, you might see some changes on the channel. You might see other people stepping in. Don't be surprised if maybe somebody else guest hosts at some point, just as a test. And it's something I got to think about. And it can't just always be me all the time. It's got to be something that grows from there, and that can function without me. I'm building a thing. Like I said, I think Matt Pat really did it the right way. He built up this whole thing, and it's gonna kind of go on without him. So that's what I would like to do, and that's a long process, but not going anywhere. Don't worry, I'm good, and YouTube is fine. It's gonna keep doing what it does. Having said that, they keep. Here's my beef with YouTube. They keep age restricting my videos. The Roman video that I just released about the Roman Empire and how it might have ended in World War I or whatever, kind of a controversial take. But somehow that got age restricted. And as of me recording this, it has not been fixed. Cannot even figure out why. It just keeps happening. And I know a lot of people who do videos on, I'm sorry, I'm totally shifting subjects now. I know a lot of people who do like true crime videos or mystery videos, also music videos. They're always getting hit with copyright strikes. They're always getting hit with age restrictions and demonetization and stuff. And it's just that is honestly, if I want to point my finger at YouTube as a problem on anything, it's that, because it's all algorithmic and AI driven. You get a demonetization or a age restriction, and you can appeal it, but nobody looks at it. I have never had an appeal actually change anything, ever. It is only because I thankfully happen to know a guy at YouTube who can help me out. And that is just pure dumb luck that I met him at VidCon one year, and he follows the channel, and we've gotten to know each other, and he's been kind enough, and I am so freaking grateful that he steps in often and helps me out with these things. You shouldn't have to know a guy at YouTube to clear up snafus like this. And these are definite snafus. There's no way that Roman video should have been restricted. It's just ridiculous. But especially people who do like music content, music criticism and that kind of thing. constantly being hit with copyright strikes and with demonetization and stuff like that. It is, I mean, it is an ongoing constant thing. I just had 2 videos that are 3 years old. One of them was 3 years old, one of them was 2 years old. Got hit with a music strike. And it was totally bogus. It was a song that we got from Storyblocks, which is a subscription service. So I'm subscribed to it. I have the rights to that song, and it's still on there. It's not like it got bought by some third party and now it's not on Storyblocks anymore. It is still there. That is actually, I will go back on what I said a second ago. I did appeal that, and it did get reversed. That's the one time that's ever happened. But these things happen, like just random stuff from years ago. Just suddenly you get hit with these strikes and stuff, and it's just a constant thing. And you spend so much time dealing with it and fighting, trying to get, your monetization back and everything. That is my biggest issue with YouTube at this point. But the fact that it's a grind, the fact that it's, something that is difficult to keep up with, that's never not been true. That's always been the case. So I don't think there's any sudden thing that's causing everybody to leave. And I would say also, take it with a grain of salt that you're getting all these videos about, like, here's why everybody's leaving. Everybody's not leaving. And it's always, I think it's overblown, and people are just riding a trend wave. I'll leave you with that. Like I said, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing. And maybe I'll actually put some more videos out here on this channel too. But there you go. Peace. I'll talk to you guys later.